It's Saturday, June 29, 2024, and I've just dropped out to my out yard this morning because I got notification of a visitor in the area, and sure enough, he made a mess. Now the good news is, these are just a pallet of 2 boxes full of frames that I left here. They were feed frames. I just left them here for the bees to rob out. So there was nothing in them. I see he's smashed a few frames there, but I think I got away lucky. However, you know, he didn't touch the rest of it. I think I might need a fence here. I've been here for years, I haven't had a fence, and I might need a fence. So I got to clean this mess up. I meant to bring my trimmer to trim the grass, but I forgot. I was trying to remember a lot of things. I forgot the trimmer. So anyway, I had to clean this up, and then I'm going to check these colonies to see if they're bringing in any nectar. There's quite a few lovely little yellow flowers here. I think it's trefoil. This yard typically has a lot of trefoil in it. I don't think the camera really shows that up, but there's quite a bit in here. And so this is how my Saturday and my weekly vlog begins. Cleaning up a bear strike. Oh well. That's what farming is like, right? Living in among wildlife, and you just do what you can. So I might have to go and get some fencing, who knows. It's Sunday, June 30, 2024. Well, June is nearly in the books. July the 1st tomorrow. So, remember I said I wanted to break down those zombie nukes this weekend and get those in their 6 framers ready to go? Well, they're still on ice in the honey house because I've been messing with this all weekend. So, yesterday I left you with my wonderment as to what I was going to do. And I think you can kind of see here what I decided to do. So yesterday, here in Canada, Monday is a holiday. It's our Canada Day celebration. And therefore, if I hadn't gone to the store on Saturday, Sunday you can usually go to the store, but it would have been Tuesday before I could get to the store again to get equipment. So I've got a new fence controller in here. I've got a charge controller. I just bought the solar panel today. There's a big deep cycle in here. And you can see that I've fenced the whole place. I didn't want to do this because I didn't want to push out into the hayfield here. But I've been here for quite a few years. Never had a bear problem till now. Landowner is very forgiving. He's very understanding. He said, you just do what you need to do. So I did. I gave myself 3 or 4 feet here just so the bear can't reach in and grab anything. So I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you a little more detail of what I did. This is not an ideal setup by any means. I've got some T-post corners here with a guy wire system. This actually works pretty good. I've got that on my home yard. A little bit more elaborate than this, but. And on this installation I used rope. It's a wire embedded in rope. It's a nice product to work with. However, I don't know if I'd say I like it better than wire. What it's going to do for me is, since this is technically a temporary solution, because I don't keep my bees here year round, this setup will come down in the fall. I can wind up this rope a lot more easily than I could wire. The wire might be waste if I tried to do that. So this is live, so all my stuff is inside there. I'm going to put another box here to raise this up, because that's my switch, and I need that switch a little higher so I can reach it. That's a 100-watt solar panel, which is more than enough. You know, if you know anything about me, you know I like to have a little more than enough. I had a 40-watt. I had a 2-joule controller with a 40-watt panel, and that would run fine all summer. Yet in the fall, it would start to run out of juice because of the shorter days and more overcast. So I decided to up that. Solar panels are starting to get more affordable. That was my local hardware store, 150 bucks for a 100-watt panel and a pretty nice little charge controller. This color is a Gallagher color, and this box is the box that the controller came in. So I said I had a 2-joule controller before. This says 8, but it's not 8, it's 5. They always overstate their joules because that's stored joules. It's output joules is what you want to look at for your protection. What's going to shock the bear. I shocked a raccoon last night. I got it on video. It's actually pretty comical, but anyway. So I have 5 strands here, plus I have a strand on the ground. So all 5 of these strands are hot, and then that one on the ground is, of course, ground. It contacts the T-posts, which act as ground rods. It goes all the way around, except where this page wire is, but I've hooked the ground wire to the page wire, so the whole page wire is all ground. I've run 2 strands above the page wire because that's where that raccoon was trying to get over. So I just want to discourage that activity. Raccoon doesn't bother too much, but I'd rather him be out than in. If he gets in, he'll have a hard time getting out, and it won't be good for anybody. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm so tired. I've been at this for 2 days, and I still haven't got it quite right because I don't always have the equipment that I want to do this. I ran out of these little insulators here, these little orange ones, or little yellow ones, I should say. I want some more of those. But this will do. I'm confident this will keep the bears out and help me sleep at night. This is the wire that I was using, and I just read the directions and I realized I've tied it together wrong, but it's also Gallagher product. It's called turbo wire, and I have been shocked, and it's very effective. It's boy, this controller really packs a punch. It's 10,000 volts at the wire. It's 9,000 volts an inch from the wire. I've got a really nice tester here. I highly recommend this. This is some money right here, but that really tells the story. And also another Gallagher product. So I'm going home. I need some refreshments. I need some supper. And I think I'll be able to sleep quite well tonight because I have this fence here. I'm thankful that I could do this and put this up. This is very expensive. However, you know, there's $10,000 worth of bees here, let alone equipment and potential production. So there's a lot at stake, right? So I don't want the bear ruining that. And I don't know if you can see today, the trefoil is growing out here in this field. This is quite something. A nice crop. But I'll catch up with you again tomorrow in July. So take care and have fun. It's Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024. And it's been a very tiring last number of days, and a little frustrating too, because this weather just doesn't seem to want to break. I've got work to do. I've got hives to address and manage, but it's raining and it's not even very warm. It's mid-morning now and it's only 18 degrees C. But I've got a job here that I really want to get done. It's weighing on my mind, and that's this bonus hive here that's been on the wagon. Fortunately, it hasn't fallen off the wagon, but so I want to get this into its spot here on the pallet, and I can feel it starting to rain now because it needs a second, and I don't want to move a double, so I need to move that, and that's what I want to start with today. I got to get that done. You may recall the zombies sat in the building last week for a few days, a few nights, and longer than I had anticipated, because it just started raining and I couldn't do anything with them. But they sat in there with the air conditioner going, at a box fan, and they fared just fine. Moved them out here Monday morning, and got the 6-frame nuke pallets moved to their locations. Got some zombies up here, and yeah, like there's 4 here, there's 4 there, there's a whole bunch. So there's more zombies than what I'm going to be making up. That's by design, because these are not really very strong, and I'll be consolidating them because I'll be taking the queens out anyway, so that won't matter. So I don't know that I'll get to that today because the weather is not good, but I need to get seconds to my out yards as well. So I also need some decent weather for that. Boy, you know, the workload is one thing, but a season like this where the weather just won't cooperate, it's really depressing. It's depressing. It's very frustrating, and it's hard on the nerves. So I haven't really checked any of these that I put seconds on. We should have a look at some of those. So you see the boxes here that I've got a deep brood chamber, and there's a queen excluder here, and there's a medium. So this was the second. So there's, you know, nectar, and there may be a remnant of brood still there. That's a comb honey box. The mediums are comb honey boxes as a rule. Every once in a while I'll run a medium of foundation, because I do have a market for selling medium foundation from or medium drawn comb from time to time. So that's really the only reasons I run mediums is comb honey and just drawing out foundation so I can sell the comb. Yeah, so that building fence on the weekend really wore me out. Spent most of the day Saturday. Well, I had to go to the city Saturday to get the stuff, and then spent most of the rest of the day, and I was played out. Got it, you know, pretty good to protect the bees from the bear that night. Sunday, I went back and I had to finish the fence off and just do some improvements. I went and borrowed some T-posts from a buddy and made the corners better and all that sort of thing. So it's 98%. There's still some improvements I want to make, but again, I ran out of some of the little insulators and stuff I need for the corners. I ran out of, so I didn't get to do the best job on that I really wanted to do. So let's move this mystery hive into place, and then we'll probably just plop a second onto it. All right, we're done the coffee, so we don't need this here right now. My guess is I'm certainly going to need the veil. I might need more than that. It's not a warm day. I'm going to smoke the entrance of the other hives here. I see a little cluster of bees hanging out the door. We just don't want anybody getting any crazy ideas. All right, so this should be pretty straightforward. I better smoke them too, I guess. Kind of hanging out the door. Now, I'll lift this off of here. There's going to be bees on the bottom board, so I may have to lift this, set it over there, shake the bees on the bottom board, and then set the box on it. I can feel a sprinkler too, so I got to get at this. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, there's bees everywhere there. Okay. Oh, do you think they need a box? Oh, I just got stung in the leg. Drive by too, she's gone. I'm gonna drive them up a little just to get an indication of if they're thinking about swarming. They've got some cups drawn down here. There's nothing in them. Okay, I think I'm okay still. We had a little novice meeting last night, and these cups, we had a novice asking for some advice and telling us what they had done in a situation. And from what they described, I thought they probably, in their hive, had a situation where the hive was preparing to swarm. And so along that conversation was brought up the idea and the point. You can't see it, but there's mud on this pallet. I don't want the mud to end up in the hive. Okay, we'll just give them a wrap. That over there. And there's bees everywhere. They're a little stingy because it's not very warm. Okay, we'll get this on that board. I don't know the origin of this or age of this queen. So what I was going to say was swarm cells. And suffice it to say, I had to remind them that swarm cells, if you see swarm cells in your colony, swarm cells are a symptom, not a cause. Okay, so quite often we feel that, oh, I see swarm cells, I'll knock the swarm cells down and then they won't swarm. No, it's not the case. A swarm cell is built because they want to swarm. They don't want to swarm because there's swarm cells present. Okay, so if you knock down swarm cells, what you really do is you remove their ability to requeen if they then go ahead and swarm, which they may yet, because you haven't done anything to stop the swarm impulse. So I'm going to go and get a box and try and put a second on this. Okay, getting this second on here might be exciting, since I've already stirred them up. They are packed. They are really packed. And I would like to get a story frame in here. And so that means pulling one of these frames out, putting it in the second. I'm going to do this plastic one. I was talking about my comb replacement strategy last night as well. And this is the kind of thing that doesn't work for everybody because, sorry, it kind of depends on how I do my extracting. I have a radial extractor. It's kind of key to how I'm able to do my comb replacement. Boy, it's just going to rain, I think. So get this plastic one out of here. Oh boy, I don't like yanking them out of the middle. I don't know where my queen is. Since I'm just adding a second, I don't have to shake this off. I don't have to shake the queen into the bottom because it's just a second. I'm going to just stand that there for now. Get my story frame in. So what I'll do is I'll pull, it's starting to rain, is I'll pull any frames. This is kind of an older frame. I could pull that one too. But because it's starting to rain, I need to kind of get this done. Get this story frame in here. It's a little bit older, but I think it's okay. Because I have a radial extractor, I handle every frame twice. Once going into that extractor, once coming out. And the coming out part is what's important, because I need to get rid of the burr comb on the bottom. Because when it comes out of that extractor and I look at that frame and I don't like it, in this case because it's a plastic frame, I don't care for them, I can throw that in a box or a pile or the garbage or whatever, and thereby rotate comb out of my brood chambers as I see fit. And I don't date them. A lot of people date them. That's cool. I don't date the frames. I just look at them and see, which ones look kind of the worst. And I can pull up as many as I want, to be honest. I can pull up 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I guess if I really want, I can pull up the whole box, a whole new box of foundation or comb underneath. 2 years ago, last year, I culled a lot of frames that way. I just want to check these colonies because these are my stronger colonies, the ones that I have a medium and then a deep, just to get an idea of what the honey flow is doing. Now, I'm seeing some white wax here, just right at the top here. There's some white wax on the frames. Not very much, but there is. Okay, I'm gonna actually tear into this box a little bit. So if I add another box to this, it'll be 8 additional frames. It'll be 9. I'll space these to 9, and then put 8 more in the top. If it's drawn comb, if there's foundation, then I'll put 10. So there's nectar in that. But the white wax is over on this side. So I'm above the queen excluder. So my queen is safe from my manipulations here. Okay. So they're definitely bringing something. They've got some capped here. And that's where that white wax comes into play. So there's just the beginnings of honey in this box. Okay, what I want to do is I want to look at my comb box. Just to see if they're drawing anything in there. The outside two are foundation or drawn comb. In this case, I think they're drawn comb. This one might be as well. Oh, it isn't. Look at that. That's my new comb frame. Wow, they've drawn that out quite extensively. They'll fill that with honey and it'll make some comb honey for me. I checked this one and there's nothing in that one. So let's check this one. I love to see them make comb honey. Look. That's working pretty good. That new frame that I made with the tiny wooden strip and a little bit of beeswax on that strip. That's just about, I think, the easiest way there is to make comb honey. So they're festooning on this one, but nothing. I'm kind of surprised that they built these two out so completely before they touched any of the others. It's a little bit different. The bees never, you can say they're going to do this, and then they'll just say, you think so? And they'll do something else. This deep is quite heavy. Okay. So they've built those frames. There's really not a lot of honey in those yet, though. I'm going to do a good old-fashioned queen check. This is a colony that I had bought a mated queen for. The introduction didn't work out. I don't remember if I took, remedial steps. I certainly didn't add a queen to it. And I wrote check queen on June 27. So I am about to do that right now. Okay, what I do remember is that I had given them a patty quite some time ago, and they had not touched it. Well, now I can see that they have. They've devoured it. They've eaten it up. It's not very warm, and it's overcast, and the bees are not happy. And I'm still in shorts. So, maybe they have more going on here than they had last time I visited them. Wow. It's a dark day for doing checking in cells. I have to go get my flashlight. Okay, there's nectar and some bee bread, I think, in there. Queenless colony will still make honey. And listen to this colony. There's no queen in here. I can tell by the sound. We're going to confirm that, though. So here's probably the impetus to my timing. This queen cell has been stung from the side. This one probably as well. So it looks like we had a queen emerge. I'm going to get my flashlight. There might be. I'm really surprised if I see anything because the way they sound. They sound queenless. They're unhappy. So I have queens coming next week, and I can requeen this. I could give them a frame of open brood to keep them happy until then. Okay, we'll go find a frame of open brood. Okay, there's a few cells of sealed brood. There's all kinds of open brood and eggs in here. So this should keep them happy for a few days. It's actually probably going to be a week before I have a queen for them. It's another thing we talked about last night, equipment. Whether you decide to do deeps or mediums or a combination of the two. And there's more than two sizes, but generally people will do deeps or mediums. And unfortunately, a lot of people talk like mediums, deeps are brood chambers and mediums are supers, and that's not true. And so the point was made that, you know, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. You know, I know a beekeeper, she does all medium brood chambers, medium supers, the whole thing. Doesn't like to lift deep, so I don't blame her. I would probably do the same if I could afford to. It would cost me about $50,000 to convert. And even if I'd started from the beginning, it would have cost me an extra $10,000 to equip my operation with mediums. So instead of $10,000 in more equipment, I've got less than $2,000 invested in a hive lifter. So just a little object lesson here. If I was using single brood chambers and medium honey supers, I might not have been able to do that, right? Could just take a frame from that top box, put it in a bottom one. You know, all of my frames are the same size. So to move frames from here to there, that's easy. If they were all mediums, it'd be the same thing. It'd be just as easy. Sorry, the mosquitoes are getting me. So just a little object lesson. And I get it, the mediums are way nicer as far as weight goes. And you can do all mediums. Probably other than the cost situation. And if you've got only a few colonies, the cost really isn't a huge deal. But other than that, one little complication that this girl I know runs all mediums, she likes to sell nukes. And so her nukes are all in medium frames. And so that kind of limits the customers who will actually buy that. I think she produces a really good product and she compensates for the mediums by including extra brood. But I think people say, oh, it's on medium frames. Well, I have deep brood chambers and I don't want to do it, you know. But these here, these three right here, these two and this one, that's exactly what those are. Those are medium nukes in a deep brood chamber. Blow your mind, right? That's fine, right? So there's 5 medium frames in the center and flanked by 5 deep frames. So what's going to happen here, once the honey flow starts, the bees are just going to draw down the medium frames down to deep length. That's all that's going to happen. And they'll fill them with drones is what's going to happen. So as I was talking about earlier with my comb rotation, this is super easy to deal with. Once I bring a second in here, pull all of those 5 medium frames out of there, put 5 nice drawn frames in there, put the medium frames in the honey super, they'll draw those out. They will fill that extra comb on the bottom of the frame with honey, goes to the honey house, gets extracted. I can pare that wax off the bottom, melt it down, reuse it for waxing my frames the next year. And she's a friend, so I actually take those frames because I really don't have a use for them. I'll take those frames back, I'll give those back to her next time I see her after that. So it'll be, you know, next spring by the time she gets the frames back, but she'll get them back because they just go through my honey house and then come right out. And then those colonies are all deeps again. So there's a little bit of a hiccup there as far as when she sells nukes. She does okay though. So there's all the zombie work to do here yet. I want to look at, what do I want to look at? I want to look at some of these 5 nukes that this guy gave me. They had queen cells and I didn't want to move them out of the pro nukes while they had queen cells, you know, because I didn't want to disrupt the mating process. So let's have a look at those. I checked this one earlier. It was last week sometime. And there's a queen and a question mark. I wasn't sure what was going on in there. Okay, so I think the story on these nukes is that he grafted on June 8th. It's the 3rd of July now. So we're coming up to more than 10 days after cell emergence, which 10 days is a good moderate time and modest time to wait for these to mate. They sound happy. They sound content. I'm about to change that. We'll just drift a little across the top. You know, kind of sink down in there. And so hopefully we had success. So here's a tip with a Pro Nuke. Get the end of that frame over the little notch that holds it down, and then you can pull that toward you just like that, and you have lots of space to get it out. That space is particularly why you can't run these through honey flow. So any of these in Pro Nukes are going to have to. So this is a grafted queen. I can tell by the cell cup that's left there. And we very well might have a mated queen. These frames are right full of feed and bee bread. I see some open cells with no eggs. I'm going to get my flashlight. I think I see milk brood. Yes, there's definitely milk brood in there. So this was successful, and I will give them some time. Oh yeah, lots of milk brood. She's doing a good job. I'll give them a little time, but I can't give them too much because we are on the cusp of our honey flow, and I need to get them out of this Pro Nuke. Very nice. Well, that's a winner. That's really good to see. So let's look at the question mark. I don't remember. I think this is, he said that he grafted some, and he actually cut out some emergency cells to put in some. And the fact that this is, I've transferred this one, leads me to believe that it probably was not a grafted one. If it had a cell in it, I left it alone, which will be those two yet. This one, I don't think has a queen either. This is the work that, I like this work, but it definitely is time consuming. It's very time consuming. It's like opening a gift Christmas morning, checking for mated queens. You know, hopefully you didn't get a lump of coal. Sometimes you do get a lump of coal, but you got to take your lumps. Okay, there's sealed brood here, and there's, yeah, I think we're in good shape. Because this sealed brood, I haven't seen any eggs yet. Yeah, there's some eggs there. Okay, this one worked out as well. Nice, almost complete frame of sealed brood. Very nice. And I'm just checking the timing. He said they were made up June 8th, so there's no way that there would be brood left from June 8th. If an egg was laid on June 8th, we're past 21 days, so there won't be any eggs left, or there won't be any brood left from that era. So that is new brood, which, you know, she laid that probably almost 10 days ago or so, maybe longer than that. Okay, so we have a queen here. Take my question mark off. So these will be hybrids. They were grafted at his yard and mated in mine. Okay, so there's another cell cup here. That far one is a foundation frame. I should have taken that out first. See, obviously he dates his frames. 2-year-old frame. So this is just nectar in here. And my spidey sense says that this was not successful at mating, but we'll check further. Thought she stung me in the finger. There's a big queen cell here, but it's right full of royal jelly still. I don't think that one was successful. So it'd be nice if this could wait for a week till I get my queens. There's sealed brood here. Yeah, there's sealed brood here. Why is that? He said he made these up on the 8th. That's 25 days. So everything should be emerged. Those are not drone cells, so we're not looking at laying workers. It's a little weird. We're just starting to draw this frame. He obviously pre-waxed this frame. Nice. Maybe I should get another frame of eggs put in here. I can take this foundation frame out. Eggs is a good test. You know, they often say it's best to run more than one colony because you have a chance to fix mistakes, fix problems. Yeah, I'll go and get a frame of eggs and then put it in here. If they make a cell out of those, then confirmed they had no queen. If they don't make a cell, then I guess they have a queen, right? And it won't take long, especially if there's some young larvae too. Just a few eggs on that one. Oh, you know, I didn't shake them off. I'm gonna move my queen. Just sprinkling again. Not too happy about that. Okay, we'll close this up. I feel like I'm playing with fire here. It's just sprinkling a little bit here. I did get tagged there a couple of times in that last hive. Oh, that looks like a little pile of happy bees. This is a mostly foundation frame. But we waxed them nicely. Look at that. Very nice. Gotta get through this. The rain is increasing. No. Now you can tell by the sound, they're not happy. They're not happy. If it wasn't raining, I would get another frame of eggs. Decent nukes. They had good brood and they've got some nice bees. Nice population, I should say. And it's raining on me. Yeah, certified queenless. All right. I need them to wait until I have a queen. And I have to go in out of the rain. It's Friday, July the 5th, 2024. I can't believe it's that late. I'm still stuck in April. It's crazy. But look at these hives. You can tell they're not stuck in April. They are full on, full gear in July. And I'm behind again. I've been sitting here in the rain, waiting for the honey flow to start, and it stopped raining for the most part. A week ago, it's rained a couple of days since, but we've started to get some pretty nice days about a week ago. And yeah, so the flowers are blooming. I mean, the hayfield still looks green, but you go over there, there's some little flowers. And these girls are hard at work bringing that in. So I'm here hard at work too. See if I can see it. There's a big stack of boxes here. That's my honey supers that I'm pulling from and distributing those among the hives. And this is a lot bigger job than just that, because I'm shaking these down. The ones that are doubles, I'm shaking that second down to the bottom, and specifically I'm moving the queen into the bottom, adding a queen excluder, putting that second back on there, putting a honey super on top of that. But while I'm at it, you can't see over there, I have a skid of those medium honeycomb frames. So I'm adding those directly above the queen excluder, put that second on top of that, then an empty honey super on that. So that's why these actually look a little taller than they really need be, because they should be, you know, a brood chamber and then maybe 2 honey supers or something like that. But they've actually got 3. So I'll likely have to add another before the end of this. And I always got that one bee after me. Yeah, so to catch up the last couple of days, I worked at the out yards doing just this, getting these bees down. They were never in doubles. They were nukes. However, I left them in singles, and you know, I left them too long, and they were starting to get swarming ideas. So Buddy helped me out. I worked there Wednesday myself, worked myself to oblivion, and then Buddy helped me out actually on Thursday. I worked 16. I did something else on Wednesday. I don't remember what it was. I think it was raining or something. Anyway, I did 16 on Wednesday myself, and then Buddy came out and we did the other 16 at that yard and a 20 at the other yard, so we did 36 together. I actually went to Winnipeg that day too, but it was just there and back to get honey from the packer. So that ended up being a 12-hour day for me, and boy, was I wore out. So I slept good and got up a reasonable hour today. One of my rural, not rural, but small town stores phoned or messaged me and said they need honey. So I drove out there. It's a 30-mile one-way trip, so I stocked up that store. It's always nice to see them. Very nice people. And came home. I was going to say I had lunch, but yeah, I really haven't eaten a whole lot today. So it's 3 o'clock or something now. I need to finish this, but I also need some nourishment, so I should go and get some of that. All right, so zombies. The zombies are still sitting here, as you can see. You know, they were supposed to be dealt with a week ago, and they're still here. So, you know, that's what anybody want to come and do zombies for me, just come on over. That's an easy job. Drop those down into the 6s, fill them up, get them queenless, get them sitting there queenless. But I have to get these honey supers on. Problem is, you see these pro nukes. You get a honey flow with these pro nukes, boy, that's a mess. That's a mess. They start to put honey in the sides where the pro nuke tapers out. I'll show you one of these. I don't know what it looks like inside. I'll have a look at this one. So this one's not very strong. This one's no threat. It's not very strong. There's not much in here. Some of these zombies are doing okay, but some of them are just not that great. But this is what I'm looking for right here. There's a little bit of brood here. A little bit of brood, a few bees. That's what I'm looking for. Because those are going to be resources for these splits. There's the queen. She's got a purple, it looks like a disc on that queen, but it's kind of a, it's not purple, it's pink. It's a pink color. Anyway, so you can see how these pro nukes, the bee space is way too big here. And if they get on a honey flow, Lord help you, they'll make a huge mess of that. This one's a bit stronger. I think these have been drifting pretty bad, but that's okay. We'll divvy them up. So we'll get these all taken care of into the 6 framers, and James and McNally sending some queens over. We're putting the queens in there, and I should have those queens by mid next week, so I really need to get these done. I'll likely have to be doing that on the weekend. It's 20, what is it? It feels like 27 degrees, it's 26°C. So, you know, it's not nearly as hot as a lot of places. Not much of a breeze, but there's a tiny breeze from the northeast, east-northeast. So it does help, but I still don't want to wear a jacket. Some of these bees are getting a little stingy, so I considered it. But, you know, this is going okay. Maybe I'll get back to it and I'll just show you one of these, what I'm doing. This isn't how you do it. This isn't how I'm supposed to do it. This isn't how you're supposed to do it. This isn't how you should do it. This is just what I'm doing. So I'll show you what's going on here. Okay. Essentially, I've just got 3 boxes here just to mitigate stooping. You stoop 100 times a day and it starts to get to your back. So these are pretty full. Now, I've chosen the wrong one here because this is a comb super. I've done this one already, I think. Yeah, there's queen excluder in there. So I'm going to add a honey super to this anyway, because sometimes they get kind of slow on the honeycomb, and that then instigates them to put honey in the brood chamber there, because this one will be full. This is the original box that was on top here. So what I'm going to do is I've got a box that's mostly drawn. These are anywhere from a really nice frame to some that just aren't quite fully drawn, right down to some that aren't drawn at all. So I'll just sort them out to put the nicer drawn ones on the outside. That'll instigate them to get on these frames a little quicker. Okay, well that's good. So there's 10 frames in there. That's my rule. If there's foundation, there's going to be 10 frames. Now I'll just put this one back on top of it. These deeps get a bit heavy. Okay, well, I'm glad I made that mistake, because that needed addressing anyway. Okay, we'll do this one. This is a double. This one just shook a 1, was it a 1%? Might shake. That's just written on the lid. So, actually I'm going to take that lid over here. Alright, so again, I've got 3 boxes here. I'm doing something additional. I'm going to take this box off. Guess you can kind of still see through there. There's not much to see. But what I can see is there's 2 plastic frames in here. I'm going to pull those plastics out, put them in honey super, and I'm going to replace one of them with my story frame. So I'll just go ahead and yank that plastic. I've got my frame gripper here to make this a little quicker. So I want to make sure my queen is safe. If I see her on this frame, that'll be great. But I don't. So I'm going to stand that here for now. I'll shake those when I'm done putting the frames back in. Too many bees all over the place. It makes it harder to manage. Okay, so there's another one. That pattern doesn't look the greatest. Got those queens coming next week, so I have the opportunity to requeen some of these if I'm so inclined. And so one of the things I'm doing here is one in the middle I'm going to replace with drawn comb. I was going to say drawn brood comb, and to me it is sort of, because it's on black foundation. I like my brood comb to be on black. The other one I'll replace with a story frame. I had culled most of my story frames last summer. Now I'm going to set this box back down on here. Oh, heavens. And I have to shake it out, put them in there. I'm going to set these in there just to keep them out of the sun. I don't know how you guys work in hot areas, and I don't mean like your ambient temperature is a lot higher, but what I mean is, I've got my 9-frame spacing tool. If I leave that in the sun for 5 minutes, I can't pick it up. It's too hot. So put me in the comments there. How do you guys find that situation? You have trouble with that? You have to set all your tools in the shade? I know these black plastic frames, particularly if they're foundation, if I set that here and the sun shines on it for 10 minutes, it'll warp that foundation. It'll get so hot. Now I want to just kind of quickly check each frame, because my objective here now, I've changed my story. I've got my story frame in there. I can do a quick queen check, look for eggs, but I am actually keeping an eye out for the queen, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to get the queen in the bottom box. But I don't want to sit here for hours looking for queens, so I go to the extra work to shake all the bees off. And now I know the queen isn't in here. It becomes a bit overwhelming. Got a wood tick on my leg, and I put him in my smoker just to show him how much I appreciate his presence, or hers. So we've got a bit of brood up in here, which is good. That brood will emerge over the next 21 days. You know your life cycle. And then the bees will backfill that with nectar and process that into honey. If there's too much buildup on the bottom, I'll clean them off, because that will interfere with the queen excluder when I put that back on. Just got stung in a finger. We saw a lot of these yesterday, and even better. Beautiful slabs. That is just worth all of the work of beekeeping, I think, to see those. They're so beautiful. Tomorrow's bees. A few little cups, but generally there's nothing in them yet. There's not going to be anything in them because they're going to be above the queen excluder. So now my box is full here and over full because I'll take one more out. I'll end up running 9 frames in that, but I've got 2 more here. So I've got a box below this one. I don't know if you can see. It's got extra frames in it. It's got bird frames and honey frames and stuff. Boy, you work without gloves, you can feel the heat, and you can also feel the breeze that the bees make as they're fanning. Okay, so try to get them to go down in the box. I get my queen excluder ready, and I got a plastic one here. People talk about these. They say, oh, they're sharp. They're not sharp. You know, it's just parroting. Parrot, squawk, squawk, squawk. Not anything useful or meaningful. But I don't like them. But that's not why I don't like them. I like that they're inexpensive. Okay. Now I need to try to get them to go down in the box a bit. And they're all hanging out in the front. This is always the challenge of this job. I can't find my brush right now. Get the bees off the side. Get the bees off the edge. I know I don't want to hurt the bees, but I'm also, you wait too long, it just gets worse. Okay, so this is a medium box of foundationless frames with a little wooden strip at the top with some beeswax on it, and that's my comb honey production. Okay, get this heavy one on top of here. All right, now I'm gonna take one out of this end. Put it here for now. And I love this stainless spacing tool. It spaces to 9 frames just that easy. It's very robust. I have the plastic ones too. I really don't like them. They're too flexible. That you can really lean into it. Okay. I got 9 frames in there and I still got two extras. So I gotta put this box somewhere, so it might as well be up here. This kind of thing makes a hive look more productive than it actually is. I come back here and say, there's 5 deeps of honey on that. Well, 1 or 2 of them came from different hives. And I want to put an empty box up here too. So I'm going to put those extra 2 in the empty box with 8 frames of wax foundation. And no, I didn't say wax foundation. I said waxed foundation. At least that's what I meant to say. Because they're either frames that kind of were partly drawn and needed some help, or not drawn at all. And I'll put these extra frames up in here. And so again, my rule is if there's any foundation, then there's going to be 10 frames. If it's drawn and it's a honey super, I'll go 9. Saves equipment and it doesn't cut down on production at all. And we'll put the lid on. Okay, so this looks, this looks amazing. There's 3 deeps and a medium on here, and it's 6th of July. It's the 5th of July, so that's pretty unheard of. All right, I'll do the same thing. Put the story frame in is another step, but I feel I really do like them. I really do like having them in there. They keep the hive nice and clean, free of drone comb. I see there's a story frame already here, so I've preceded myself. But there's 2 plastics, so I think I want to replace those. Sorry I breathe so heavy. There is just not really anything I like about plastic frames. Really don't. I get that people don't want to spend time assembling frames. That's fine. I get that. I can't take this one because it's got a whole bunch of syrup in it. What I am going to do is I'm going to move that in, and it'll be next year that I get to take it out, because they'll fill it with brood for next summer. I'll just move that in. I'll get a new one for there. It's a nice drawn brood frame. Nice and fresh for them. Alright, so that's good. The story frame's already there. Put this back. I could put an empty hive body here and shake that into here, but I definitely want to make sure that this is sitting on a bottom. It's not sitting on a bottom here, so because the queen could be in that box, and if I pull a frame out, the queen could fall on the ground. I don't want that. So again, quick scan for the queen. Can't spend too much time looking for her, but if I do see her, then I don't need to shake all these frames off, and these are right full. Holy smokes. Right full of nectar. If I see cells or cups, I always want to look at them. There's jelly or something in them, then I can know that I'm a bit too late. Which I am a bit too late. I'm just hoping that I'm not a lot too late. Why this flow just starts. Nothing, 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 and then the next day the hives are right full of honey. Now there was a couple here that were honey, so I'll take those out and replace them. 7, 8, 9, Baser. Okay, 10 honey frames there. Okay, that's the drill. Wood ticks and all. I hope you all had a good Friday, and I hope you have a great weekend. And thanks so much for watching. And just a reminder that if the bead of sweat going down your back is going up your back, it's not a bead of sweat. Thanks for watching.